Hello, I'm Carolyn. The first thing I want to do is thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel today, where we're going to be talking about sexuality and intimacy for single seniors over the age of 60. Did you know that of the entire population of seniors over the age of 60, 73% of us are single? So this is a topic that's relevant to a good deal of us. I hope you'll join me then every day on my YouTube channel. We talk about something different every day. I will answer your questions and cover your issues. And of course, please subscribe to my channel. You can do that right now by pushing that little button at the bottom of your screen. Yesterday, I talked to women who are single and basically challenged them to identify what it is that they want. If you want to stay single and you enjoy your single lifestyle, that's wonderful. If you're married and you've been married a long time, you have it together. You don't necessarily need this channel unless you're just interested in issues of sexuality between men and women. But if you're single and one of the 73% in the age group that is over 60, and like me, you don't look forward to spending all of your days and nights alone between today and the nursing home or the funeral home, then maybe you can identify some of the things that you want from your life as a single senior. Yesterday, I challenged women. Today, I'm going to challenge you, men, to think about a little bit of what you want. And in preparing for this, I've done more little research. Now, this is not statistical research, and this has nothing to do with facts, but it's kind of fun. I have come up with a list of the American generation nicknames, because as I began talking to people who are over 60, I realized, this could be a pretty big population. How old are we? Are we 60 to 90? Do we span 30 years? Do we span 2 generations or 1.5? I don't know. So let's look at this for a minute. The first generation I'm going to talk to you about is a generation that is called the GI generation. That's the first one that you see at the top here of the page, my page. The GI generation are for those people roughly who were born between 1901 and 1924. Those people are today over the age of 90. These are people who survived the Great Depression. These are people who fought in World War I. There are a few of us in my very small hometown who are over 90 and who are living in their homes and very active and viable citizens, and take part in government and in church and in community affairs. So it is not totally unreasonable to believe that these people might be interested in marriage if they're widowed or divorced. The next one I want to talk to you about is the group that is 72 to 89. We are nicknamed the silent generation, and we were born between 1925 and 1942. I say we because I am one of those. I was born in 1944, and I am 73 years old. I married last September, so I'm sort of a newlywed. Before that, I was widowed for 5 years. Because of my experience, I became interested in our experience. Okay, let me talk to you a minute about the silent generation. We're conformists. We follow the rules. We were too young for World War II, and we were too old for Woodstock. So we're sort of right in the middle. The baby boomers who followed us call us boring, and they say that, we were sort of silent. We're their parents, by the way. And finally, we have those aged 50 to 71, born 1943 to 1964. Those are the baby boomers. Those are the ones that call us silents. Some people say I'm a baby boomer, but I'm not. I'm the silent generation. Trust me, I know which category I belong to because I didn't go to Woodstock. I did participate and was interested in civil rights, but I wasn't a hippie. I did understand that a lot of my peers were doing sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I wasn't because I was a conformist and a rule follower. And we also had the pill about that period of time. And another thing they were called were the baby busters because the baby boomers decided they didn't want to explode our population anymore. So they're often called the baby busters. So if you're interested in this, take a look. Do your own research because I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this affects not only us and our generation, but how this affects men. I like men. I loved my father. I loved my grandfather. I loved my brother. And I love my classmates. I'm not a liberated woman, although I felt no need for liberation because I thought I was born liberated. So that again goes with one of the conformists and one of the silent generations. But that being said, let me talk to you about men and how I love men. And one of the things I want to tell you about what I believe about the male experience in our particular age group. And that, again, is 72 to 89, maybe a little younger, maybe late 60s. Let me show you this. Men. You know who this is right away. This was the male idol of your time and my time. It's John Wayne. He stood for rugged individualism and independence and strength and masculinity. And he had his guns and he had his horse and he had his women and his girlfriends and he conquered lots of things, including the women in his life. He may have even had a movie where he spanked the woman. He turned her over his knees and he gave her a good whopping on the rear end and said, "You need a spanking, young lady." And those things are what men were raised with when they were coming up in our society. Here's another one. You know who this is? Burt Reynolds. He was a renegade. He was a free male. He was single. He was a sex symbol. He was known for his sexuality. And I think he even maybe posed for a Playgirl magazine at one point. Really raised eyebrows because you know what? We as a society, we were transforming ourselves. We were changing ourselves from the silent generation, moving forward to the baby boomers. And so we were making strides as far as our transformation. So men, my age, you know who I'm talking about. But I want to show you another picture. This is today's idea of a very, very sexy and very popular film star. You can certainly see the difference. He is posed. He has a very sincere and maybe even sensitive look on his face, as opposed to the renegade John Wayne or the playboy that we see also, and Mr. Reynolds. Here's another I want to show you. This is another popular male that we have of today. Very, very different from what you have seen or what you were expected for your role model. Gentlemen, do you wish to have a sexual partner? Do you wish to have a romantic partner? Do you wish to have a relationship? This channel is about sexuality, not necessarily about sex. You can have sex. My father told me that you could have sex because you're taking a pill or because you're paying. And I've heard men say, well, I wouldn't mind having sex now and then, but I don't want to have a relationship. And I've also heard women say, well, I wouldn't mind have somebody take me out to dinner now and then, but I would not want a relationship. I want you to know this channel is about your sexuality, your intimacy, and who you want to be as a viable sexual person living a whole life between now and the rest of your days, which could be a very long time according to our statistics. Please subscribe to my channel. Talk to me again tomorrow, and we'll be talking about other issues of singles seniors over the age of 60 who are interested in having a full and viable life. Goodbye for today.